Sports betting edge nobody wants to track is not a secret stat, a lock, or some magic pick that only shows up at midnight. It is way more boring than that. It is the number you bet compared to the number everybody else is left with later. That is it. And that is why most people ignore it. Because tracking it does not give you the same dopamine as cashing a slip. It does not feel as exciting as finding a player prop you love. It does not give you a clean victory lap every night. If you actually want to know whether your betting process is getting sharper, this is one of the best places to look. The concept is called closing line value. You will hear people call it CLV. All it means is this. When you place a bet, what number did you get? And where did that number close right before the game started? If you took over 21.5 points and that same prop closed at 23.5, you beat the market by 2 points. If you took a side at minus 110 and later that same side closed at minus 145, you got the better price. That does not mean the bet is guaranteed to win. The player can still have a bad game. The team can still blow the spot. Randomness can still laugh directly in your face. But over time, if you're consistently getting better numbers than the closing market, that is a serious signal, because the closing number is usually the most mature version of the market. By then, injuries have been reacted to, lineups have been adjusted, public money has come in, sharper action has moved the price. The market has had time to digest information. So if you keep beating that final number, you are probably not just guessing. You are finding something before it becomes obvious. Here is where beginners get this wrong. They track wins and losses only. And wins and losses matter, obviously. Nobody is trying to frame losing as genius. But if that is the only thing you track, your record can trick you. You can make a bad bet and win. You can make a great bet and lose. You can take a prop at a terrible number, watch it cash by half a point and think the process was perfect. Or you can beat a line by 3 points, lose because of foul trouble and think you did something wrong. That is why closing line value matters. It separates outcome from process. Let me give you a simple example. A player rebounds line opens at 7.5. You look at the matchup, minutes trend, injury report, and team rotation, and you think the real number should be closer to 9. You take over 7.5. 3 hours later, that line is 8.5. By tip-off, it closes at 9.5. If that player finishes with 7 rebounds, your pick loses, but your process probably found real value. You got 7.5 in a market that later decided 9.5 was the fairer number. Now flip it. You take over 9.5 because the player has been hot. Market closes at 8.5. He finishes with 10, so you win. It feels good, but the number you bet may have been worse than the final market. That is the uncomfortable part. Sometimes the winning pick was not actually a good bet, and sometimes the losing pick was exactly the kind of bet you want more of. This is why I think the edge nobody wants to track is not just picking winners. It is proving that your number was better before the result happened. Now there are 2 ways to use this. The first way is basic tracking. Every time you make a pick, write down 5 things. The line when you first saw it, the line you actually took, closing line, result, and the reason you made the pick. That last one matters because you are not just building a spreadsheet, you are building a feedback loop. If you keep beating the close on injury-related picks, that tells you your injury timing is strong. If you keep losing closing line value on popular overs, that tells you may be late to the move. If your picks win but the market keeps moving against you, you might be running hot. If your picks lose but you keep beating the close, you might be on the right track and just stuck in a noisy sample. That is a very different conversation than just saying, I went 3 and 4 today. The second way to use it is before the pick. Ask yourself, is this number likely to get better or worse? If you think the market will move toward your side, you may want to act earlier. If you think the number is inflated because everyone is reacting to the same headline, you may want to wait. If a star is questionable, a backup prop might be valuable early, but only if the role actually changes. If a total is moving because of weather, pace, or lineup news, you need to know whether the player prop you like is connected to that move. This is where AI can be a serious edge. Not because AI magically knows the final score, but because the hard part of sports betting is not having one opinion. The hard part is connecting a lot of small pieces fast. Recent role, usage, minutes, line movement, injuries, matchup, schedule spot, player volatility, market timing. Whether the number you are about to take is already stale. Strong AI workflow can look at those pieces together and help you see what changed, what is priced in, and what still might be mispriced. That is also why I use Parlai. Parlai is built for this exact kind of sports betting research. It gives you live context and current stats, lets you choose the AI model you want to use, and has a live chat option so you can pressure test a pick instead of just taking the first answer. Biggest thing for me is the reflection piece. When a pick loses, Parlai can reflect on what happened and use that feedback to get smarter over time. That is the difference between just getting a prediction and actually improving your betting process. Because if you're trying to track an edge like closing line value, you do not only want a yes or no on a pick. You want to know why the number might move. You want to know what context matters. Want to know whether your reasoning still holds after new information hits. And and you want a cleaner way to learn from losses instead of just moving on to the next slate, you can check it out at parlai.cc. Now here's the important part about tracking closing line value. You need enough picks for it to mean something. One bet does not prove anything. 10 bets barely prove anything. But once you start building a real sample, patterns show up. You start seeing which sports you read best. You start seeing which markets move against you. You start seeing whether your best picks are early numbers, late reactions, injury pivots, or props where public narratives are too strong. And that is where the edge becomes real, because most bettors never get to that point. They remember the dramatic wins. They remember the bad beats. They remember the one player who sold the ticket, but they do not remember whether the number they bet was actually good. If you do not track that, you're missing the most honest feedback your process can give you. So for the next 50 picks, try this. Do not just track win or loss. Track whether you beat the closing number. If you bet a prop at 15.5 and it closes at 17.5, write that down. If you take a line at minus 120 and it closes at minus 105, write that down too. Do not hide the ugly ones. The ugly ones are the ones that teach you. After 50 picks, look at your record two ways. Your actual win-loss record and your closing line value record. If both are strong, that is great. If your wins are strong but your CLV is weak, be careful. You may be winning in a way that does not repeat. If your CLV is strong but the results are cold, do not panic too quickly. You may be closer than the short-term record says. If both are bad, that is not failure, that is information. It tells you the process needs work before the bet size goes up. The real edge is not pretending every pick is perfect. The real edge is building a system that tells you the truth. The question is, are you consistently getting numbers that are better than the market? Most people will never track that, and that is exactly why it can become an edge.